In the heart of Nyangali village, Bumala sub-county, Bungoma County, lives Carey Joy Wanyonyi, an American citizen and a mother of three. Carey Joy came to Kenya in 2018 as a missionary, and it was here, in this picturesque village, that she found the love of her life, Albert Wanyonyi.
My name's Carey Joy Wanyonyi. I came to Africa, to Kenya specifically, in 2018, June. I was called as a missionary to come here and minister the gospel. I do outreach and a bunch of kinds of charity work. And after I came here, God introduced me to my husband and let me know in a vision that he was my husband. And at the time, he didn't speak English, and I don't speak Kiswahili. So there was a kind of a gap in communication for a while, but God helped him learn English.
I work for Porter Border. That one's first job most for me. Most him come here. That one the job I'm doing. Porter Border. So I'm continuing for Porter Border at that time to meet together. Sometime I used that same fear for motorbike, more traveling him for around.
Albert, a boda rider who never had the chance to attend school, captured Carey's heart despite their language barrier. Albert only speaks Kibaluya, while Carey is an English-speaking American journalist. Yet love found a way to bridge the gap between them.
Me first time for meet for him, I meet for my brother, Bishop for house. The first time he come 2018. And I think he come for very late for nights. I think two nights, and at that time to waiting because to hear he's coming travel for Nairobi for Bungoma. So that time to wait and to have meal ready for separating, like enjoying together. And that time, that one why happened, he read there, and the way I see him, my eyes is like my mind is blowing because I see something. It's very important for my life. And that one why I come home, that one's it's like my memory. Every time I live there again I'm thinking that one why is to meet first day and to continue. I'll have to take him for Temiluki there for the place we should be going for stay. And that time was like go there for early morning for 5 because to have many things to work.
Albert made the first move by presenting Carey with flowers, a gesture that spoke louder than words. Carey's heart warmed to his sincerity, and she responded, "I love you," to which Albert, in his limited English, replied, "I love you too."
As far as our love story, after I got here in 2018, I wasn't planning on finding anybody or getting married. I was coming to do the work of God. But shortly after I came here, I heard the whole team that had been praying for us and working on this end to get us here, we got to meet all of them. And as we're going around the room and they're introducing themselves, my husband Albert started talking, and God put it on my heart, this is your husband, and that's why you never found the right one back home. And I was surprised, and I doubted, and am I hearing this right? But there were a couple more times in the future where God confirmed through dreams and visions that he was the one. After the second vision that I had that was showing that he and I were going to be married one day, I woke up and I said, God, if this is true, then I understand that we speak different languages and you can make anything work, but please either teach me, help me learn Kiswahili or Kibukusu, or help him learn English, because it's hard to have a life without communication. If we're trying to build a life together, we need to be able to communicate and organize things. So that exact day, he came to the compound that I was living at, and you have to understand, he knew no English before this, nothing. He didn't greet anyone in English, there wasn't anything. He came to the compound and he asked me in English, "How are you?" And I didn't think much of it because I had already learned Kiswahili greetings at that point. And I figured, you learn greetings, it's fine. But I told his older brother, I said, "So your brother Albert greeted me in English today." And he was like, "What?" He almost jumped back in his chair. He says, Albert. Yes. My brother Albert. Yes. He greeted you in English? Yes. And then still 10 minutes later, he was still going over it in his head. We were in the middle of a board meeting. And he came 10 minutes later. My brother greeted you in English. I said, yes, your brother. Because he just couldn't believe that he was trying to learn English. I found out later, after we started talking, that God had spoken to him during his prayer time that day. And he basically laid his hand on his head and he said, speak English with Carey. And he started to understand the communication around him. He still couldn't speak for a while, but he started being able to hear what different English words were and started to build a little bit of an understanding. He still had to practice a lot. He had to be like brave, probably braver than I am because I mess up Kiswahili all the time. But he had to be really brave and just start speaking English, and his English understanding grew and grew and grew. And now our kids speak English and Kiswahili and Kibukusu very fluently. I still don't know Kibukusu or Kiswahili. I don't know Kidogo.
Despite the language barrier, Albert showed his dedication to Carey by teaching her how to cook ugali, ensuring that his family and community would accept her. Carey's love for Albert deepened as she saw his efforts to make her feel at home in the village. She believed it was a vision from God that brought them together, and Albert's first move confirmed it for her. Carey's integration into village life was not without its challenges. How did she manage to mingle with the villagers, who were initially curious and somewhat skeptical of her presence?
We have 4 kids. 3 of them we had together. One of them is from a previous marriage, but she lives with us, and so we have 4 kids together now. I homeschool 3 of my kids, or 2 of them. One of them's too young. And then the other one goes to public school because her birth mom prefers it that way. But as far as us getting together, I guess it all happened when, at first, Albert used to make me think that he didn't like me. I would walk into rooms where he was, and as soon as I sat down, he would walk out of the room. And then I would be moving around the compound, I would go somewhere else, he would be there, he would walk away. And I said, this man does not like me. I don't know what I did to offend him, but he doesn't like me, and I don't know why. But I was still like, you know, back home, I was the kind of person who would do the pursuing. I was the kind of person who would tell someone how I felt. But God had been working on me for a couple of years and saying, don't pursue, just trust me, it's the man's job to pursue. So I stopped. I was like, if this is of God, if God is doing something, if I heard God correctly, he will pursue me and I will not need to do anything. So I just kept quiet. As hard as it was, I kept quiet. I didn't say anything. And I just kept doing my ministry work. I was saying, I think that God said this. I'm starting to have feelings for this man because God keeps telling me things, but nothing's happening. So I just had faith and said nothing. And about 3 months after I came here, Albert came to my house where I was staying, and he just pulls flowers from behind his back and hands them to me and walks away. And I know that maybe that sounds like a really clear signal, but the fact that he was always walking away from me and he still just handed them to me and walked away, I was like, did somebody give these to him to give to me? Like, what happened? I was still confused. I was a little bit giddy inside thinking something was going on, but I was still confused. The next day, he took me to town because I had to get some things at Tesha when Tesha was still here. And he purposefully took me to Ketia's instead because he knew Ketia's didn't have it and he wanted more time with me. I didn't know that at the time. But we're driving down the road and he's teaching me little Kiswahili words here and there. He's pointing up saying stima and, you know, different things. And then he says, what? Anapenda. I don't know if I said it right, but then he says, it means I love you. And so I was like, huh, is he trying to tell me something? I said, what was that one again? And then he said it again. And I said, okay, so it means I love you. And he goes, I love you too.
I know that time to have marriage is very tough that time. I have tough because the neighbor you have to remote like us to living here to going for America. So everyone, you need to see which day I'm leaving, because he is counting. Everyone have the counting days. It's now he married from Zungu. It's not the way you can stay here for the open land. So it's like very, here is very home, and home. Sometimes the people you believe wrong way. And for me, it's a hard time. What I meet for him, it's no, I can speak for Kiswahili. For others, no good Kiswahili at that time, and it's not have like speak like English. So I try well. And the moment I try, and the moment I say what I'm failing, because it's a hard speaker. Another thing is what you told. It's hard for me that time, and I thank God, because the more I pray God, and the more the door you open for English for me. And the more again to meet together, and the moment I run something for him. And I like him, I love for him.
The village people often came to their fence to observe her, wondering if she was a real human. Over time, as they witnessed the love and commitment Carey and Albert shared, they accepted her as one of their own. One of the significant challenges Carey faced was the expectation from villagers to give them money. Despite this, she remained steadfast and focused on building a life with Albert.
So then we started talking a little bit in English, as much as he could, and I knew that it was culture here that the wife is supposed to cook ugali, and they have to know how to cook it the right way, without lumps, without it being too sticky, all of these different things. And I didn't grow up cooking ugali. I didn't grow up eating ugali. I didn't even know what the texture was supposed to be. So I sat down with him at Tesha when we got there, and we were eating some palau, and I said, listen, I don't know how to cook ugali. Your mom's not going to approve of me because I don't know how to cook ugali. And he says, no, I will cook the ugali. And that one is what did it for me, because even though God had spoken earlier and he was telling me he loved me, do you know how many guys will tell you they love you without loving you? Like that's very common. So you can't just trust someone when they say I love you and be like, oh, he loves me. No. Like most people who say it really early, it's not genuine. But the fact that he was able to step outside of his culture and say, no, I'll do the cooking, I'll cook ugali, you don't have to worry about that. Like that was a huge thing. He's stepping outside of what he's been taught all of his life. He's stepping outside of what he's known all of his life. It was a huge gesture, and to me, very romantic. It wasn't like the typical flowers and chocolate or whatever. But it showed that he was willing to come together in the middle to make a relationship work. I didn't have to become Kenyan, and he didn't have to become American. We could meet somewhere in the middle, which is the only way to really make a cross-cultural relationship work. So that one really kind of cemented it for me that he did care about me. And I don't think if God hadn't been talking to me, I wouldn't have believed him when he said, I love you. Because I think since I came to Kenya until that time, just in that 3 months, I'd probably been told that by 20 different guys who were trying to marry me. But the fact that God had been telling me consistently that this is your husband, this is the one that I have for you, and I'd been having dreams and visions, that's why I knew. It wasn't that I love you, because honestly, that's meaningless without action. But God was the one who had told me beforehand, so it really meant something. And ever since then, our relationship has been us both learning the culture of the other person, learning the heart of the other person, and doing our best to come together in the middle. Just like that time when he was talking about the ugali, to just do our best to reach an understanding so that we both fulfill each other's needs in the relationship. And it's helped because every day we work together in ministry too. And without that understanding, we would not be effective.
Albert had a daughter from a previous relationship, and together with Carey, they now have 2 more children.
When I first married him, we had this little, like, 1 bedroom in the back, 1 bedroom in the front. We had a 16 iron sheet house, and it was just a mud house, the one that you use the, I forgot what the Kenyan name is, but you use the cow dung and mix it with water and you put it down on the ground. And that was where we lived at the beginning, and I would take a jiko out and cook in the front yard and do the laundry by hand and all of that stuff. And a lot of the neighbor kids would come by. Adults would come by sometimes, but kids were almost always here. and they would just be crouching down and giggling together, and then like laugh a little bit and just watch the Mzungu do her stuff. Because I was kind of a novelty, I guess, it made me feel a little bit at the beginning like maybe an animal in a zoo, like I was some like thing to be watched. And it took a little bit of time to adjust to, but as I adjusted and the neighborhood got used to seeing me here, and it's been more like getting to be a member of the community. And I think it took several years, but it was really after my dad passed a couple of years ago now that I really felt like a member of the community, because it wasn't just me going out and like doing things or people coming and saying, hey, I need to send my kids to school, please help me, which I'm always glad to do what I can when I can help. We're always glad. But it wasn't just always like trying to help other people. The community came together and they were there for my mom and I. The church came together and they were there for my mom and I when my dad passed. And so the fact that that happened really made me feel more of a part of things than I had ever felt previously. Like I'd felt a little bit of part, but I'd really felt kind of like I was an outsider looking in. But after the passing, I've felt more like I'm a member of this community now. And I know that there's people who will step in and like help me out in times of trouble, just like I would do for them. So I really appreciate that about the community acceptance here.
It's true. It's like my friends and all the neighbor, because you need first things more like you say hi, him for mind, you waiting next is money, because I have money. So it's everyone now more like I can go around for friends, and the friend will say, no, buy one for tea, for soda, something, because you have money. So sometimes I share what I have too, because I thank God it's not have it, so I can share like you have small 50 shillings or something, and more to can share like friendly and to can enjoy together. Again, it's very hard because everyone, me more that I'm going for tomorrow, because I have money and I can live different life, and I thank God.
Now we minister together. We run a ministry together. It's under my mom's cover ministry, but I have a completely separate group of things that I do. My husband and I have a football team that we go out and minister with. It's an outreach group that we go out and outreach to the guys. We disciple them. My husband does the mentoring and things with the boys, but I'm there for supporting. And I'm really happy with how far the project has gotten. We're county registered now with the county of Bungoma, and the guys really have like some pride in who they are and what they're doing. And I feel it's really building them as individuals in society as well, teaching responsibility and discipline, and everything comes back to respecting God and respecting others, and we base everything that we teach on that with that group. We also have a house church program that we do. We just started that one this last March, and we've grown to about somewhere a little over 50 individuals that meet together at our house every Sunday to do church and fellowship together. We have a community center that's our next big project that we're trying to build. We have the latrine partially built. The fence around all of the property has been built. That was a big part of the project. And the next thing is to finish the latrine and lay the foundation for the community center. So that's going to house the house church. When we bring in meetings with all of the different house churches together, they'll come to the community center together. We'll do seminars and missions programs, conferences, but then we'll also do outreach to the community. We want to do a tutoring program. We want to do a job training program, computer training, different life skills training programs where we bring different people in. We want to do health training where we bring different health experts in to talk to the community about different things, nutrition, pretty much anything that can be outreach to the community and improve the community. That will be a center where we can do it. And we also want to host missions groups eventually who can come and visit this area and work with us in what we're doing. And that is where they're going to stay. Once that's built, they'll stay in the rooms that are alongside that center. So it'll be basically the center for our ministry to do everything out of. We just finished our chicken house, which we're also using as a church at the moment. So So that might sound strange, but it's what we have to work with at the moment while we're building the other one, and it's a lot better than meeting in the sun. So I'm working together in ministry with my husband, Albert WANYONYI, and we've been together since the end of 2018. We had a few months where we never talked to each other, and then we started discussing after I was here working for a few months.
Yeah, the project to doing like this village, I'm trying like help mental problem for kids. It's like for me, it's not forget where I come from. That one why I have team. Like you call all prayer warriors. I have team for that one. It's the ministry team. So much can catch these boys like staying for home, and the people more keep up like going for school, and can help him. Like he have talent, can help him like growing more. Like one day he can play for another big cup for the big team like the world one. Like can find another sponsor. So that one is like I help small like bring him for school back. More can go finish for him injection. More can have the life back, and I find the people another one he have talent and is very young. Can take him like for technique like he train something. Can help him future. So it's not only team because I need team. It's the team because I need to catch these boys together and they can help future. Zomo does not have like a home boys home round. Out the people does not have the job round. And I'm helping like you play football. Sometimes I'm trying for like people you know him, you have talent. And what for me I do, I pray for the people, friends. Sometimes it's support me. Sometimes it's me and my wife to help these boys. Someone to can bring for school, can finish school, and something good for him, her life can happen and can help him. Anyone what you feel like you can share together for this dream, and you feel for that feelings like you can support these youths to have to have the number, can call us, and to have like email to can discuss. The number is 07 57 07 81 75 07 57 07 81 75. So like to can share together and to can support this homeless. Sometimes the people not have a home, to can have like a home, to can lay him and like to help him more the mentor and to help him more the way you can know for seed for to get another people and to help like that talent you have. Yeah.
The family lives in a fenced, gated compound, and Carey has taken on the role of teaching her own children before trusting them with the Kenyan education system. Carey has become a farmer, raising numerous domestic animals and working to improve the lifestyle in the village. She has written many stories about Africa, sharing her experiences and insights with the world. Her active presence on social media has helped bring attention to their work and their love story. MOTORBIKE TV even visited her to document their unique journey.
There's actually a lot of people, especially on my TikTok, who some in a very kind way are very concerned about that, because they're like, it's one thing that you chose to live there with your husband, but your kids need the best education, your kids need the best future, like just go back to America, you can do it. The thing is though, everything that I do has to be what God wants me to do. And God has been calling me to move to Kenya since I was a child. Since I was 8 years old, I've had this pull on my heart to eventually come and minister in Kenya. And so unless God was the one that said, okay, you're done here, I'm sending you back to America, I can't just be like, you know what, life is better back there, I'm going to move back. And, because he made me for this, there are certain things about Kenya that I love and that I thrive in. The fact that time isn't as structured here. People say like Africa time and Mzungu time. And honestly, I thrive in the unstructured, time that they have here. I thrive in the simple, laid back way of doing things, because I can still be productive and I can still get everything done that I need to, because I have a lot of passion, I have a lot of drive, and my whole life is about getting these things done. But not having the structure takes away the stress of it. So you can have this like non-stressed environment where you're getting all of this stuff done that you have to do. And For me, that's the ideal environment. For some people, it's not. But God made me to come here. And so for me, it's okay. But as far as like the kids and all of those things, I just have to trust God. I just have to know God called me here. God married me to a Kenyan man. God, called me to raise a family and other things. And I can't sit here and worry and say, what if it would be better somewhere else? What if me staying here is going to harm them in the future? I just have to believe that God's giving me the resources that I need to raise up, thriving children to succeed in this world. And it's part of the reason that I'm doing homeschooling, because I want to supplement their education so that they can go and study at university in America one day if they want to. I'm doing an American education, and then we're also doing Kiswahili and agriculture and things like that from here, so that they are well balanced and they can survive in both worlds, really, because the cultures are so different in both areas. They can choose whichever one they want as they get older, but right now, because God called me here, it's not in my culture to just send my kids away and be like, hey, my kids are going to go and live with their auntie in America. That's not my culture. My culture is you raise your kids. You teach your kids, you train your kids. When they're adults, they make their decisions. So for me and for Albert, we're just trusting God, and God will make sure that we have everything that we need to not only take care of the ministry, but also raise a healthy, happy, well-balanced family. As far as supporting the things that we're doing, either us as a family or the community projects, the team projects, anyone who wants to sponsor anything that we're doing, we have a website. It's joymissions.weebly.com, and you can donate on there. I also have, Safaricom number for him is 0757078175. 0757078175. So if you want to send, those ones wouldn't be tax deductible. The ones online go straight through the organization. So if you want to send it through the organization and have it tax deductible, go online to joymissions.weebly.com. And you'll be able to make donations on their tax deductible, and we send tax receipts every January. But if not, his number will work just fine.
Carey and Albert have made significant contributions to the community, such as digging a borehole to provide clean water and running various community projects. Wanyonyi is no longer a boda rider. He now helps his wife in their missionary work, and they have established their own church. Wanyonyi's English has improved thanks to Carey's support and encouragement. Today, Carey is comfortable living in the village, fully embraced by the community that once viewed her with curiosity. Her journey from an American missionary to a beloved member of Nyangali village is a remarkable testament to the transformative power of love and resilience. For those who wish to support their community projects, more information can be found on Carey's website and social media handles at the end of this documentary.